How's it going, everyone? Jiivita here with another quick start guide. Previous episode we went over basically the tutorial, which covered creating our first campfire, crafting table, beacon, and basically just getting set up with a permanent little niche in the world. So be sure to check out that video if any of that interests you. Today we're going to go over the next few steps in the crafting process. So we're going to cover making some stone tools so we can gather resources more efficiently, how to make a stone furnace and a workbench, and how to find all of the materials needed to do so. Anyway, let's get down to business. Certainly one of the first things you're probably going to want to do is upgrade from these wooden tools. So you're going to want to craft some stone tools. And as you can see, once you complete the tutorial, the day-night cycle starts to kick in. So the sun is setting over there. Amusingly, it sets in the east. But yeah, you're going to want probably a torch of some sort, which requires sticks and flint. You can rarely get flint by just breaking rock, or you could break a boulder, which is a type of surface resources often found inside of caves and sometimes found on the surface. Once you've gathered plenty of rock, you can come over to your crafting table and go down to the rock section, and here you can turn your rock into stones. It's good to note that you can save your resources by using either bulk or mass crafting. Mass crafting does require a skill, so it will be a little bit before you can unlock it, but you can certainly use bulk crafting to stretch your resources even farther. It's also good to note that roughly every rock turns into 2 stones, which actually gets magnified a little bit by bulk and mass crafting. So here we can turn 4 rock into 10 stone, which is fabulous. So for the time being, you can only queue up 10 things at a time, and as you can see, each one of these does take time to complete crafting. So here is where crafting a second crafting table can be quite invaluable. It's also good to note that for each stone you craft, you do get experience, so taking your rock and turning it into stone can be a great way to help level any character, especially a character that is specializing in crafting. So if you haven't already done so while that stone is crafting, I would highly recommend going and getting a little bit of wood if it's needed to craft more crafting tables. Once you have a good assortment of stone, stick, and foliage, you can start crafting some stone gear. If you're on a hostile planet, one of the first things you probably might want to craft is a stone sling bow. This will greatly help you in defending yourself against spitters and wild stock, and help you to gather animal products in the future. So you can go ahead and craft either a single or a bulk craft. Probably want to do just a single for the time being. After that, stone hammers and axes are probably going to be your most valuable, so I probably would suggest doing a bulk craft of those if you can manage. Following the previous trend, these do take time to craft, so you could either just craft it all in one crafting machine like this, however that's going to take a longer period of time, or you could divvy it up among multiple crafting devices, which will greatly reduce the amount of time needed to craft all of the tools. Now that you have upgraded weaponry and tools, you can go forth and gather. However, if you do have enough rock, you could go ahead and queue up some furnaces to craft. So head down to crafting devices. You'll need both a stone furnace base and a stone furnace crucible. So the stone furnace base does require 1 piece of flint, whereas the crucible simply needs stone. If you don't have enough resources, or even if you do, use your newly crafted equipment to go gather plenty of stone, leaves, and trunks. Remember to head over to the exchange on a semi-regular basis to check your rewards. You can use the quick collect all to quickly collect all of your rewards, and spend any skill points as you gain them, as it will help you to progress even faster. So at this point, I still recommend putting points into either power or dexterity, or a split between the two. At this point in the game, I think dexterity is probably going to benefit me more than power. Another resource that you'll need fairly shortly is some sort of metal. Easiest to find is copper and can usually be found either in solid rock or in the caves such as this one. The homeworlds are pretty riddled with caves, so even if you don't have a natural opening kind of like this one, you can generally just dig down a little ways and find one regardless of where you are. And if you have yet to craft a torch, you'll certainly want to craft one before going into the caves. But here we go, we've already found some copper. Another resource you want to keep an eye out for is any kind of coal, as this will help power your furnace to smelt metals. However, in a pinch, you can use trunk or even timber to substitute coal. Another vital piece of resource that you'll want to pick up just about any time you want to see, at least in the beginning, are tech remnants. They kind of look like these circuit boards, and these will be used to craft the more advanced crafting machines such as a workbench. Once you've gathered an assortment of copper ore and maybe some soft coal, tech fragments, and you're ready to return home, if you've gone into the caves, you're probably fairly lost and you might have gone down really deep. An easy way to get out of the caves is to return under a 2-block high ceiling, kind of like this one right here. If you don't have one nearby, you can always create your own by just digging into the wall a little bit and walking into it, and now you can return to Sanctum. Depending on how deep you are, you might have to repeat this trick several times to get all the way back up to the surface, as you can see here. But yeah, this got us close enough to daylight, and looks like I can actually just go ahead and walk out, so that can be one way to easily get back out. Another option is that you could warp back to your beacon, however that costs coin, so it's up to you if it's worth the convenience. If you haven't already, go ahead and craft your furnace, crucible, and base. Once they're done, pull them out and place them down. Naturally, the base will need to go down first with the crucible on top of it. Okay, there we go. Now we have a valid furnace, and now we can begin smelting our copper. So the top slot is for fuel, where the bottom slot is for ingredients. It's good to note that in order to be able to start this, you need only one type of fuel and one type of ore in there at a time. If you have more than one type of coal, or if you have a little bit of iron ore mixed in with your copper ore, then it will not let you start. And this also goes for cooking recipes. Once you've smelted some copper and have managed to gather some timber and ancient tech remnants, you can craft your very first workbench. Certainly you could gather enough materials to do a bulk craft, which really I'd only need extra timber to do. However, one will do just fine for now. It does say craft 4 down here, but that is because each workbench is made up of 4 blocks. Once it's done, pull it out of the output and place it onto your action bar. Now you simply have to place all 4 blocks in a way that they all are touching each other. You can do this in any number of configurations, including just a tower straight up, or a cube, or really anything you can imagine. So, but once you have a valid workbench, you'll see that all of the crates turn into these machine blocks, and you can now interact and see all of the new wonderful recipes you have access to. It's good to note that all further tools will be crafted in the workbench, including copper and iron. However, you will need the appropriate crafting skills to be able to craft the tools and weapons. So down here in the crafting section, you can see that there's a category for tool, weapon, and tech. Tech has to do with grapple, spanners, and chisels. Weapons has to do with, of course, sling bows, and then tools are for the axes, shovels, and hammers. So 1 point into tool crafting will unlock copper and iron. 2 points will unlock the alloy tools like gold, silver, and titanium. And then down below there are further crafting skills that will unlock even more advanced tools. The next thing on the agenda would be to craft an extractor. If you have plenty of leftover resources, you can go straight ahead and craft the extractor. The extractor allows you to process raw materials into crafting ingredients. Okay, well I think that wraps this episode up. I think next episode will be focused primarily on creating a new character to specialize as a crafter and then getting them to our current little campsite here. So anyway, this was Jiivita. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more like this, and if there's anything you didn't like, please let me know down below. Also, if you like my channel and want to get cool perks, check out my Patreon page. Until next time, peace.